I'm live! We're live! We're live. Hello, and welcome to the Mark Goldbridge channel, not the United Stand. The beauty of this channel is that when you've got a long walk ahead of you and you're getting dripped on by something wet, that doesn't make any sense. There's only a tree ahead of me. You can go live and not have to worry about messing up the United Stand channel with idiotic drinks after work live streams. But I want to talk about why Manchester United, for me, are favourites for the Premier League. I don't know whether they are with the betting companies, but I believe that they should be. I also want to talk about this nonsense that just keeps gathering pace about Victor Lindelof. He gets turned too easily. His positional sense is awful. This is from Mr. I Know Football really, really well that I can't even play it anymore. And we crossed the road safely because we don't want to be live on a stream. He's jogging. He can still do it in his late 30s. Look, in relation to Lindelof, very, very quickly, he's come from the Benfica League, Portugal League. He's played for Benfica. He plays for Sweden. To say he's suspect positionally and he gets turned too easily is the sort of propaganda nonsense that the British press breathe off. It is total nonsense. What is actually happening with Lindelof is that he's settling into a new club, a new league with new players, and like especially defenders, he's got to get used to the pace of the game, the pace of his team, and he's a little bit nervous. To be totally honest, we're all human beings. He's a little bit nervous. He's going to be a great centre back. Mourinho will make him a great centre back, and these people prophesying that he can't defend. He's not great at defending and all this nonsense. Rubbish. Have you actually watched him for the last couple of years? Because I certainly have. Not week in, week out. I'm not going to profess to do that, but he's a good defender. He's just taking his time. And for any plonker to say, his positional sense is bad, or he gets turned too easily off the back of a few pre-season games, they clearly haven't supported the United that long that they can't even remember what Vidic was like when he signed, what Rio Ferdinand was like when he signed. These weren't players, they were great players for Manchester United, but these weren't players that walked into the team and played brilliant straight away. They took their time to integrate, and I've got no doubt that our old don't get run over again. I've got no doubt that it'll be the same with Lindelof. It will be. Breach 69 says he was poor against the American sides. Well, I can accept that, but as Aish 13 says, he's just joined, give him time. And as the Formals Lime says, he killed that Real Madrid player in the friendly. I think he might be talking about Matic. Football Bear says, hi Mark, I'm just going to cross the road. Imagine if that was the end of me, crossing a road. Liverpool fans would rejoice. And United fans who don't like people from outside Manchester would rejoice, I'm sure, as well. As you can tell, I've been to work today and I've had a couple of drinks after work, so I'm in a good mood. I'm in a little bit of a juvenile mood, to be honest, as the lady walks past, clocking a bit of the chest. She was old enough to meet my grandma, no way. But quieten down traffic. It's a road, not a racetrack. But so Lindelof needs. I don't really understand any negative, to be honest with you Manchester United fans. I've just realised I think I've walked down the wrong road. I have walked down the wrong road. My wife's gonna block a FIFA gamer. They're not doing very well. FIFA gamers, they've had their day. They're not doing very well. Breaking news. But we're not a FIFA gaming channel, so we're actually a football channel. So what was I even talking about? What was I talking about? I'm not happy. Literally 20 metres that way, but it goes off at an angle that is going to save me 20 minutes. But I can't turn around on a live stream. It's just, you can't. You make a choice and you follow it through. What I am heading into is Studentville. That is bad. I don't want to be near students, but that's what's going to happen. Anyway, so can Manchester United win the Premier League? Let's get on to that. But let me talk about that. I remember where I was now. The negativity around it doesn't deserve what is being thrown against him. And look, I didn't want Matic, I didn't want Lukaku, but when they become Manchester United players, that's what happens. And I think the Lindelof thing is just so naive and silly. He's hardly played any games. He actually played well in the last game against Sampdoria, and judge him in the bigger games when Mourinho's had more time to spend with him. I'm not going to be live for long, by the way, because I've just realised I might even be finished now, because oh no, I'm still live. My Wi-Fi is nearly running out. It's a shame, isn't it? Could have been great. Could have been fantastic. But at least it's killed a few minutes for me that have actually distracted me anyway and sent me down the wrong route. If I'd just not bothered to go live, I would have been fine. Maybe should do this more often on the Mark Goldbridge channel though. Don't need to be professional on here, can do what we like. Daniel says wait till you get home. I'm already going to do a stream on the United stand when I get home. I'm trying to fill in the boredom of walking home. I decided not to get the peasant wagon bus because it's a bad bus to get on where I'm trying to get to, and I'd rather walk than sit on there and get some sort of illness. So, and that's not being snobby, it really is a rough area that it goes through and I don't really want to do it, so I'd rather walk. Do this more, says Lee K, thank you. Anyway, can Manchester United win the league? I have very little left on my portable Wi-Fi, but I'll do what I can. I'll do what I can, which is what I've always done for the United stand. So I'll do what I can. Oi oi, there's a woman here with a child. Be quiet. You might get a glimpse. You might get a glimpse. You didn't get a very good glimpse, but I did. Anyway, oh dear me. Don't show the wife that. Anyway, Manchester United, can we win the league? I don't know whether we're favourites, but I think we probably should be, for the simple reason that we have got a lot of good players. No, we've got a great manager, the best manager in the world, and I believe that. Who's the threat? Conte, who had no European football last year and was playing one game a week, much like Leicester, who won the title, or Pep Guardiola, who is basically a checkbook manager and he never used to be, or Klopp, who couldn't win a teacup if you offered it him in a cafe, and who else? Spurs aren't going to win it, they're always going to be second place, bridesmaid not the bride. Arsenal, don't make me laugh. Manchester United clearly are the favourites. What we need to sort out, I think even if we didn't, we still have, with the team that we have at the moment, a very, very good chance. And I think Mourinho's team, I've said this before, but I haven't really dwelled on it. He's clearly going for the Premier League. Matic is a Premier League player, and he's won it twice. And he knows the Premier League very well. Lukaku is a Premier League player in relation to the goals he scores. I think the priority for United is the Premier League, and I'm very, very, very happy about that, because that's what I want us to win. I want to win the Premier League. Champions League is, I don't think you can really go into the season, unless you're Real Madrid or Barcelona, and think, yes, the target is the Champions League. We've not been competitive in it for so long that I think, you know, to say that that's the priority would be very, very naive, and I don't think we're a Champions League winning team. That's not to say we won't do well in it or win it, because I think Mourinho's shown in every aspect that he's a very good cup manager, and he could see us to the Champions League. You don't have to be the best to win a cup, but I do feel that it is 100% about the Premier League for United this year. Wins it in his first 2 years. I can't stop saying that, because that is the fact. Everywhere he's been, he's won the league title in that country in the first 2 years. So he will lose that record if he doesn't do it this year at United. And I think, to be honest, if he didn't have that record, I understand the United fans who are saying we're not going to win the league this year because it's too big a gap. 6th to 1st, we're still not quite good enough. I agree with that, but he wins it all the time in his first 2 years. And I think Mourinho himself is really aware of that too. So that's the reason that I'm going for it, because I think he will as well. It's a busy road here. I nearly got run over. I was being polite. Imagine that, live, run over. All the hate he'd get for killing me. Or congratulations cards. Probably get a lot more of them, to be honest. But yes, so I do believe that United are setting themselves up to win the Premier League. And that is exciting because, to be honest, I always used to say it when Sir Alex Ferguson was manager, by the way. I know some people are different, but my priority every season, and this is a direct quote from Sir Alex Ferguson as well, my priority every season was to win the Premier League. That might surprise a few people, but when you look at Sir Alex Ferguson's career, 2 Champions Leagues in over 20 years, how many Premier Leagues? His priority every year was to win the Premier League. He felt that that was the way to gauge Manchester United dominance of England. I'm sure he would have liked a couple more European Cups, and it wouldn't have been at the detriment of any Premier Leagues. We were unlucky on a few occasions. We weren't incisive enough, but you could say the 2 we won, one was a penalty shootout and one was winning it in the last 2 minutes, so maybe 2 was about right. But his priority was always the Premier League, and I think this year Manchester United need to win the Premier League. Look, Arsenal haven't won it for a decade. Liverpool haven't won it for nearly 3 decades. So Manchester United need to be winning the Premier League, because it's 5 years this year. We don't win it, 5 years already. So we do need to win the Premier League, and I think that should be our priority. As I said a few months ago, I've been saying for over a year that we'll win the Premier League, but what I have said is that if we win the Premier League and we get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, that to me is the perfect season. The minimum for the Champions League has got to be the quarterfinal. The Premier League, we've got to win it. We've certainly, at a minimum, got to be challenging for it. But for me, I think we've got to win it. I really, really do. Ousmane Dembele says, karma. I'll tell you what, mate, I'd love it if he was a real, what's the word? A real candidate, but I don't think he is. I've wandered into Studentville by accident. I apologise. I've got nothing against students, but I never was one myself, and they don't really live in the real world. That's my theory. But anyway, also the student life is an easy life, so maybe it's just a bit of jealousy and bitterness. I don't know. I'm amazed I'm still live, I've got to say. For a red button, it's on this last bar, it's held up well, and I feel that we're an exclusive club here because, one, if you've persisted, well done, because there's no quality control on this video. Neymar to PSG. Right, back on the. I know where I'm going again now. I'm in so much trouble. My intention is to be live on the United stand at around 9 o'clock tonight. I'm gonna have to go home and sort of apologise and all that jazz and have some dinner, but then we will do the United stand on the United stand. But yeah, I think United can win the Premier League. I understand why a lot of people are sort of negative about it, but a lot depends on the way we approach it. I think if we did the 3-5-2, we'd have a very, very good chance. I think it will cause a lot of people a lot of problems because the back three can be very strong. The wing backs provide the width. Then in that midfield, you've got Matic, Herrera, Pogba, Mkhitaryan in a free role, and Lukaku up front. That's going to suffocate and almost ambush and destroy so many teams. That's like, it's not even fair. As I said, I think the formation really is a bit sort of cheating in a way, because you get so much quality in the midfield. You've got Matic holding it, you've got Pogba and Herrera with freedom, you've got Mkhitaryan with total freedom, and you've got Lukaku up front, and you've got width with Valencia. We've got no width with the left wing back at the moment, whether it's Darmian or Blind, but that's the position where, we don't need a weatherman to tell us it's raining. It was clearly Perisic was going to play the left wing back role. People are asking me to sort of summarise everybody else, so I'm more than happy to do that. look, Liverpool aren't going to win the league in my lifetime, so asking me if they're going to win the league is just like saying, is a dead pig, going to arise from the dead and become Prime Minister of England? Of course it's not. Liverpool aren't going to win the league either. Arsenal, they're not going to win the league. I don't know why. I think it's been a very, very weird transfer window. It looks like Alexis Sanchez will stay at Arsenal. I cannot understand that at all. 1 year left on his contract. Clearly looks disinterested with the bottlers around him every season. Not in the Champions League. 29 in December. But he's going to stay at Arsenal. Waste a year of his life in a club where he won't win anything. But it looks like he's going to stay. But it's been a very weird transfer window. I think the Neymar thing is just so demoralising on many levels. But the most core level is the fact that he is one of the world's best players walking away from one of the world's best teams to play in a pub league. And that's, you know, there's lots of other angles. The corruption, how football can be just manipulated by money, that is a massive, massive concern, but it won't be to everybody. But the big thing with Neymar is the fact that he's just, you know, walked away from a fantastic club to earn a load of money in your prime. It's ridiculous. It would be like George Best walking away from United in the 60s to go and play for some shitty French team, and Ronaldo leaving United in 2008 in his prime to go and play for some shitty French team. You know, it's baffling, but it's all about money. And to be fair, I love, you know, Brazil are a very entertaining side, but in the main it seems to be Brazilian players that do it, and maybe it's because they come from such poverty that money becomes their god. I don't know. I'm not judging those Brazilian players that do it, but Oscar went to China and he was in his mid-20s, and you think, why are you doing that? Oscar was a decent Premier League player. Why are you doing that? Why are you going to China at 20, you know, in your mid-20s? Go and do it when you're like 33, you know. They're not bothered how good you are. They'd probably sign Gary Lineker now and pay him a load of money in his 50s. So, but it's a different mentality. In England, we don't have poverty at that level, but we do have a different, you know, I don't know, you can't relate to it really. You can't relate to Neymar or Oscar when they go and do a thing like that. I cannot believe where I've walked to. I've absolutely walked beyond being close to where I live. You know, I've just added about half an hour onto my journey, which is stupidity. Oh well, it's a good exercise, I suppose. We're still running anyway, we're still live. Yeah, so Liverpool and Arsenal can't win the league. Spurs can't win the league. You could argue that Spurs over the last 2 years have been the better footballing side, coming, you know, they didn't come second to Leicester because they gave in at the end, but they should have done. They came second last year. Probably worthy of a Premier League title over the last 2 years, but didn't win it. Will they get that good of an opportunity again, playing at Wembley as well, which will inspire their opposition? I don't see Spurs winning the title. I think their battle is top four. Also, they've got the Champions League, which is going to kill them. And moving on to Chelsea, it's going to kill Chelsea, the Champions League. It's very easy to focus on the league when you're not playing in Europe, and Chelsea had a perfect opportunity last year, as did Liverpool, but obviously Liverpool bottled it as per usual. So they're, you know, Spurs aren't going to win it. Chelsea as well, for the same reason. Well done for winning the title last year, but really, you know, European football is going to make a big change to them. I'm not convinced by Bakayoko either, I've got to be honest. I'm not convinced by Bakayoko for Matic. Regardless of whether I wanted Matic in the first place, I would say Matic is better than Bakayoko, and he's Premier League proven. And I'd also say that Diego Costa is better than Morata. So I think Chelsea have weakened in a couple of positions. I'm not convinced by Rudiger either. And they've got European Cup football, so I don't see Chelsea winning the league. I know it's exactly what I said last year, but for me it comes down to Man City or Man United, and we've got the better manager. You've got Guardiola, who for 2 years, his only real strategy against Mourinho and the rest of the Premier League is not to put faith in what he's supposed to be, which is a great tactician and brilliant advocate of superb football and to just get the checkbook out. He's just a checkbook manager. And the money he's spent, to be honest with you, I'm going to be totally blunt, the money Guardiola has spent, he should be, I think any manager in the Premier League should be able to win the title based on the money he spent. He spent like 400 million now over the 2 years. And, you know, I think Mark Hughes, Sam Allardyce, you give them that amount of money, players probably wouldn't want to sign for them, to be honest, but I think they'd be competing for the title. Guardiola's got to win the title with the money he spent. He has to win it. I don't think he will, and I think he'll be sacked. I think we're going to win it because we've got a better mentality, a better team morale. Manchester City cannot buy morale. They cannot buy history, and they cannot buy entity, status. They are just a mercenary club. City have won the title a couple of times the first time. A true champion is one that can retain the title having won it, and they never get doing it. And I don't think they'll even win the title with Guardiola. I think he's a checkbook manager, and that's the end of that. So United need to score. The perfect game is the first game against West Ham, because we dropped well over 20 points last sides that we should have beat, but we couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. That for me is why we've got the season against West Ham. We drew that last season from them. They were one of the teams like Burnley and all the others that we should have beaten at home. So West Ham, first game of the season, can really be the focal point that dictates our season. We beat West Ham first game of the season, and we've already done better than last year by beating a team that we should be beating at home. So I'm looking forward to it, obviously, but that's where United's season rests on for me. It's not really, I don't think we did fantastically well against the top six last year, but where we really let ourselves down was dropping so many points at Old Trafford against teams where it should be 3 points, and for teams like Chelsea it was consistently 3 points, and under Sir Alex Ferguson it was consistently 3 points. And Manchester United, let's have no doubt, we should be beating Burnley, Bournemouth, Hull, West Ham, Stoke at Old Trafford. That should be 15 points, not 5. So that's where United need to improve, and we've got the perfect opportunity to do it in the first one. There's no one chasing me. I don't know whether just to carry on until I kill the battery, really. Busy roads are a pain to cross at this time of night. Sets you back. It really does. I'm sure there's a lot of people watching me as well as he moves into the Irish. I've absolutely destroyed this walk home. I really have. There's no excuses at all. I'm stood at traffic lights now, waiting to cross, waiting for it to go to green. Please do. I will be doing a show tonight on the United stand, yeah, but this isn't the United stand, obviously. I will be doing a show. I don't work long hours at work, Adam, no. I just go to the pub after. That's what I do. But I'm not going home. I am a little bit lost, yeah. I'm not going home, I'm going to the mother-in-law's. And I thought I knew a shortcut. But if you watched from the start of the stream, you would know that I messed it up quite early on. I'm going to go for this. Aggressive drivers on a Friday. Got to be very, very careful on a Friday. Oh, I just feel this walk home has just been an absolute disaster. An absolute disaster. Please, somebody tell me what time is it. If it's 7 o'clock, I'm screwed. I said 7:15. I've still got, I reckon, 20 minutes, maybe even half an hour walk home. I'm in so much trouble. Thing is, I did actually leave the pub nearly an hour ago. I could have had another 2 pints and got an Uber and be on the good books. But now, I've tried to walk home, went earlier than I should have done, and I've got well, I've not lost, but I'm just gone totally the wrong bloody way. Clown. It's frustrating, and I'm still live. 6:50. Irish Brawler. I said I'd be back 5 minutes ago, and I'm nowhere near. Absolutely nowhere near. I should get a pro on my head, Adam Boucher. What, like Marcus Rashford? That's a bad joke. 26 minutes I've been live, and I've probably made no progress. I'll tell you what, Gareth Hunt, I'm not under the thumb. I just don't want a headache tonight. And to be totally honest, I want to see my son. I work Monday to Friday, and he goes to bed at 7:30, so I'm not going to hardly get to see him at all, which is great. I want to see my wife and other kids as well. Would I buy Neymar for 200 million, says Muda Beaches? Good question. I said about 3 or 4 months ago, when Neymar was linked to United, like it always happens, I said my concern about Neymar is I wanted Griezmann, not Neymar, because Neymar just always struck me as a mercenary, and lo and behold he is. And a mercenary is never safe. If we'd signed Neymar, like the scenario is this, if we'd signed Neymar, like Di Maria, and he has a bad year, he's got no passion or affiliation to Manchester United, he's here for the money. So in a year's time, if he has a bad year, like Di Maria, is he angling and forcing a move? That's the problem with Neymar, and for anybody who thinks that's not realistic, he's just left Barcelona. In his prime, he's left Barcelona, where in 2 years' time he would have been Barcelona's star, because Messi would be like virtually finished at 32. And he's walked away from that for money. So would I want Neymar at United? No. But I also do agree with what Mourinho said, that at 200 million, is he overpriced? It's hard, because how many years ago did we sell Ronaldo for 80 million? It's got to be 6, 7, 8 years ago. How much have prices increased over 6, 7 years? So Ronaldo at 80 million in today's market is probably 150. That 80 million then is probably worth 150 now. So it's not a massive jump from 150 to 200 for Neymar. And I think, as Mourinho said, that money is recuperated in many different ways. The problem is, you start paying 50 million for Sigurdsson like Everton are going to do. That's your problem. That's what's the problem. It's worrying. I was speaking to Draughty on my lunch actually about it. It's worrying where football's going to go. But football won't die, because we will always support and love Manchester United. And I just think fans need to be very, very careful each season. You know, it's subtle, and sometimes it's not so subtle. The cost of your United shirt, the cost of your Sky Sports and your BT, the cost of your season ticket. It's still £1, 1 million subscribers. You know, it's coffers for Sky to start paying more and more. The reality is footballers are paid too much. Clubs get too much money from Sky and everything like that. But it's funded by the fans, and the fans need to deal with that. Bryn MCM says he's hearing that Bale is on. All I can say is that all summer I've heard that Bale to United is not as far-fetched as everybody thinks, but I think it is far-fetched, but maybe it's closer far-fetched than some people think. I don't know. I think half an hour is enough. I need to put some hard yards in now. But thanks everybody for watching. It's been good fun. I've not done a video on here for ages, so for those who did watch it, well done. You're definitely part of a cult club. The core United stand fans will not have been part of this and will not have realised it even happened. So we'll do it a lot. Me and Terry have a checkered pass from the football terrace, but there is no issues at the moment, which is nice. I don't really want any issues with any other United fans. I never have. So it's good to hear that he's positive, which is good. I think positivity breeds positivity, and that's the way to do it. So be live on the United stand tonight at some point, maybe with a black eye. I'm thinking 9 PM for 9:30 as I predicted this morning. But thanks everyone who joined me. You've helped me along the way of this lost track home. I think I'm about 20 minutes away now. I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.